Good morning students, welcome to SST So Simple tutorial. Today we will start the second lesson of economics textbook, Sectors of the Indian Economy. So open your books to start the lesson. Look at the pictures given in the first page. You will find many people engaged in various economic activities. You can see laborers working in a brick kiln. You can see a woman selling ready-made garments. The third picture looks like a courier wala delivering some packet. A coolie is carrying bag and then cotton being handpicked by women. Some of these activities are producing goods and others are giving services. So how to understand these activities? To understand these activities better, we group them using some important criterion. These groups are called sectors. In this chapter, we will discuss three types of classification. Firstly, on the basis of the nature of activity, we classify them as primary, secondary and tertiary. Second, on the basis of employment conditions, we will classify them as organized and unorganized sector. And third, on the basis of ownership, we will classify them as public or private sector. So we will start with the primary, secondary and tertiary sector first. So let us start with the primary sector first. There are many activities that are undertaken by directly using natural resources. For example, cultivation of rice, wheat or cotton. To grow them, we depend on natural factors like rainfall, sunshine, climate, etc. The product so obtained, that is rice, wheat or cotton, is a natural product. There are other activities like dairy. How do we get milk? We depend on the biological process of animals. The product milk is also a natural product. Similarly, ores and minerals are also found in nature and are natural products. So, when we produce a good by exploiting the natural resources, it is an activity of the primary sector. Okay? Why it is called primary? See, we do not stop with sugarcane production. We further make wood or sugar. So is the case with cotton production also. We weave clothes from cotton. So the answer for the question why it is called primary is that they form the base for all other products that we subsequently make. Since most of the products that we get are from agriculture, dairy, fishing, forestry, etc., this sector is also called the agriculture and related sector. Let us now try to understand secondary sector. It covers all such activities in which natural products are changed into other forms through ways of manufacturing. For example, using cotton fiber from the plant, we spin yarn and weave cloth. Using sugarcane, we make wood or sugar. The product here is not produced by the nature, but it is being made. Some process of manufacturing is taking place here. Since this sector becomes associated with different kinds of industries, it is also called as industrial sector. Let us now try to understand the third one, that is the tertiary sector. These are activities that help in the development of the primary and secondary sectors. These activities by themselves do not produce any good, but they are an aid or a support for the production process. For example, how shall the goods that are produced in the primary and secondary sector reach to the market? Who will carry them? We need trucks or trains to carry them to their destination. So transport is an activity included in this sector. We need banks to borrow money to help in the production and trade. So banking is also an activity of the tertiary sector. Since these activities generally provide services rather than produce goods, so they are also called service sector. In addition to such activities discussed just now, there are some other services which does not help directly in the production of goods. For example, we need teachers, we need dhobi, we need doctors, we need barbers, we need lawyers, etc. They are also included in the service sector. In recent times, some new services based on information technology have come like ATM booth, call centers, internet cafe, etc. They are also included in the tertiary sector. Based on the understanding of the primary, secondary and tertiary sector learned just now, you can try question number 3 in page 21. It is very easy. Classify the following list of occupations under primary, secondary and tertiary sectors. So initially what we will do, we will pick the occupations that come under primary sector only. Let us begin. Tailor, no. Basket weaver, no. Flower cultivator, yes. Fisherman, yes. Priest, no. Courier, no. So now you again make a heading secondary sector and tertiary sector and pick one by one and write all those occupations that come under secondary and tertiary sector. Do it yourself. Okay. Now let us come to table 2.1 and see what is written on the top of it. Economic activities, though are grouped into 3 different categories, are highly interdependent. That means they are dependent on each other. This is an important question and may be asked in the exam. Let us read the example given. Imagine what would happen if farmers refuse to sell sugarcane to a particular sugar mill. The mill will have to shut down. What does it show? Sugarcane produced by the farmer is an activity included in the primary sector. Sugar mill is a secondary sector. So the example shows that the secondary sector is dependent on the primary sector. Next example. Imagine what would happen to cotton cultivation if companies decide not to buy from the Indian market and import all cotton they need from other countries. Indian cotton cultivation will become less profitable and the farmers may even go bankrupt. If they cannot quickly switch to other crops, cotton prices will fall. Production of cotton is an activity of primary sector. Cotton companies are secondary sector. So this example shows that the primary sector is dependent on the secondary sector. In the first example, secondary sector was dependent on the primary sector. Let us see the third example. Farmers buy many goods such as tractors, pump sets, electricity, pesticides and fertilizers. Imagine what would happen if the prices of fertilizers and pump sets go up. Cost of cultivation of the farmers will rise and their profits will be reduced. Here you can see that tractors, pump sets, pesticides, etc. are produced by the industries, that means secondary sector. All these are essential for agriculture. So this is also an example of primary sector dependent on secondary sector. Let us see the last example. People working in industrial and service sector also need food. Imagine what would happen if there is a strike by the transporters and lorries refuse to take vegetables, milks, etc. from rural areas. Food will become scarce in the urban areas, whereas the farmers will be unable to sell their products. What does it show? People working in industrial and service sector need food. In case there is a strike, the food will not reach them. It means that the secondary sector and the tertiary sector is dependent on primary sector. On the other hand, if farmer is unable to sell their products, that means they are also dependent on the tertiary sector. Thus, from these different types of examples, we can understand that these 3 sectors are ultimately interdependent. You can prepare a good answer from this question in your notebook. So let us do a quick recap. Primary sector. It includes activities that are undertaken by directly using natural resources. Secondary sector. It includes manufacturing. Natural products are changed into other forms. Tertiary sector. It does not produce any good but are an aid and support to the primary and secondary sector. Besides, it includes teachers, doctors, lawyers, ATM services, call services, call centers, etc. Finally, all these sectors are interdependent. With this, we finish the topic of the day. In the next class, we will discuss how do we count the various goods and services and know the total production in each sector. Till then, keep reading. Have a nice day. Thank you.